Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Samuel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you how you can go about writing your research work practically. I have noticed that over the course of time, students face a lot of challenges when it comes to writing their projects. Okay, this is something I've been doing for a while, and I feel that the insight I provide will help you navigate this difficult challenge. All right, so depending on which school you are coming from, the faculty and department, some of the things I am going to be sharing with you may vary slightly. Okay, but the point is that you can take a hint, a cue from everything I'm going to be talking about. Now, as you well know, report writing or project writing is divided into several chapters, usually from chapter 1 through 5. Okay, each of those chapters have specific contents that you are supposed to have there. These contents are standardized so that everything that everyone writes at the end of the day will be uniform. This is what I mean. If I write on a particular topic, you write on a particular topic. At the end of the day, what we are expected to have is uniformity in research presentation, okay, or research reporting. All right. So, one of the things I will need you to do because of this is to get the specific guideline from your department or faculty as to how you are supposed to write your research. This will give you a clearer focus on how to go about writing your research. Alright? Okay, so without wasting much of your time, let's go directly into what we have today. In today's video, we will discuss the chapter 1 of your research project. I am very much aware that one of the hardest parts of writing your research is your chapter 1. Your chapter 1, depending on the topic and depending on your experience level, it can be challenging. All right. So, but basically, your chapter 1, irrespective of department of the field, is supposed to give you an introduction. It's supposed to give an introduction into whatever you are going to be working on. So, chapter 1 is introduction. In the introduction or in chapter 1, you are going to give us the background of the study. That includes giving us definition, giving us factors, giving us challenges, giving us just about anything that you feel is important towards whatever you are writing. What we require is enough literature to give us a background about what you are interested in studying. Alright? So that is chapter 1. Chapter 1 is supposed to draw upon several sources, several different literatures, and give us a comprehensive enough introduction to what you want to study. Alright? Then you will also notice that as part of your chapter 1, because most studies are situated in a particular location, maybe a clinic, a hospital, maybe a library, a government agency, a school, or whatever you have, because they are situated in a particular place, right? As part of your chapter 1, sometimes you need to discuss the location of your study. Alright? So, for instance, in the example I have before me, what we have is Kashim Ibrahim Library in Ahmed Bello University. So yours might be different, but as part of your introduction, the normal way is to, if it's possible, discuss a bit about the location of your study. Now, when you are done with the location of your study and the background of your study, one of the things you can do, or one of the things you're expected to do, is to go ahead and discuss the statement of the problem. Okay? In the statement of the problem, you are expected to do a number of things, as you can see on my screen. One of such things that you're supposed to do is to give us a concise introduction to what you are trying to study. Yes, we know you did the background of the study, but a little bit of text, a little bit of explanation on whatever you are studying at this point is it will help to broaden, or it will help to introduce the problem. Okay, to help to introduce the problem. So for instance, my topic here is about multimedia information resources, right? So you see a brief introduction, right? Now, when you are done with the brief introduction, one of the things you need to do for your statement of the problem is, if possible, if you can find, look for at least one or two different sources or citations that are relevant to the problem. Okay, they will serve as cushions. Okay, they will serve as foundations on which to speak about your problem. So we said that you provide a brief introduction, then you can have one or two different citations, right? Then the next thing is, you now tell us the problem you are trying to study. Okay, you tell us the problem you are trying to study. You can elaborate as much as possible. Just make sure that we are understanding what you are trying to do. Now, when you are done with your research statement of the problem, the next part is your research questions. Your research questions are usually derivatives of your research topic. You cannot write a research question without a connection to your research topic. They have to be connected. In the same way, the objectives of your study is also connected to your research questions. Okay, so these things are interconnected. There's a link between all of them. As we proceed, you are going to find out that several things are interconnected like this. So your statement of the problem is connected to your introduction. Your research question, research objective is connected to your research topic, right? Then your research questions can be as many as possible, right? Here I have about 5. I've worked on research works about 3, 4, right? So depending on the person and what is being studied. So usually they start with what, how, challenges, those kind of statements. That's how they start with. So you can just pause this video and then look at what I have before me. Alright? So from your research questions, what you need to do to get your research objective is to do a conversion. Okay? So for instance, in the first research question here, what I have is, what are the types of multimedia information resources available for undergraduate students? You can see this part, right? Now, what you need to do to get your research objective is just change some parts of the sentence. Okay? You can do that simply by going over, as you can see, I said to determine the types of multimedia information resources. To determine, you see that? So from what are, it is now to determine the types of. Okay, so your research question, it is usually what is converted to your research objectives. Then also the significance of your study. To you, the study might be important, but to the person reading your research, he or she may not clearly know the importance of what you are doing. And because of that, you need to clearly state the significance of the study. For instance, before us here, I said that this study will be of immense benefit to undergraduate students of Ahmadu University, right? Then see another significance of the study. I said that this study will also help the library management to determine the level of utilization of multimedia information resource. So your statement of the problem, your background of the study, from those two, it may not be clearly apparent how important your study is. But here, we are giving you the opportunity to really tell us who the study is going to benefit. So in this case, undergraduate students, and also what? The library management. Your own might be patients, it might be people with disability, it might be people across 2 different campuses, just about anything, right? Then the next point is what? Is scope of the study. The scope of your study is the coverage of your study. By the time you get to master's level, PhD level, you get to write theses and dissertations that span 6 states, or your study area spans 6 states, 3 states, a geopolitical zone, right? So, but in your undergraduate research, your scope is usually limited to that particular place you are trying to study. So we need to know clearly where is your scope. Okay, so if you are studying something in Ahmedubello University, let us know it is in Ahmedubello University. If you are studying something in Bingham University, let us also know that it is in Bingham University. Uni Abuja, whatever university you are in, that's let us know under what the scope of the study. Right? So it should be as concise as possible. Then the limitation of the study. We want to know in what ways your study is limited. For instance, your study might be limited because of time. Your study also might be limited because of finances or some other reason, maybe health challenge, maybe you are going through a crisis, whatever. So this is the part that will tell us that this study might have been much more elaborate than this, but because of such limitation, I have been limited to what we have now. Then for your operational definition of terms, it is going to define, or you are going to define terms in your research study based on how you mean them. Okay, so if I mean information to be this is where I will clearly state that this is what I view as information. You get it? So different things, different terms, different meaning, the way you mean them in your own research. So that is what operational definition of terms is. Then the next part is reference. Okay, for my own field, for my own discipline, we usually put reference at the end of each chapter. Okay, this is because we want to confirm the sources. Okay, we want to know where you are getting your information from. Okay, there are some fields, some disciplines, they don't really want your references at the end of each chapter. What they want is at the end of your research report. Okay, so if you are from those fields, fine, but if you are from a field like mine, at the end of each chapter you have to give a reference. Now, in my estimation, in my experience, a very good chapter 1 is about 8 to 11 pages. 8 to 11 pages. Okay, if you do justice to it, it will fall within this range. If you didn't do justice to it, it will fall short. Then sometimes you might load it up. So, but what we are looking for in chapter 1 is simply